Gone, but far from forgotten. A Korean War POW who passed away overseas more than 60 years ago is finally coming home. It's a day his family had been waiting decades for. Here's News 13's Cole Miller.
Well, Alex, the story of Private Eugene Erickson starts in Minnesota, a young man who signed up to fight for his country. Now his brother, who lives in Albuquerque, will finally be able to put him to rest here in New Mexico.
He's just a lanky guy, rather tall and skinny. He's kind of easygoing. Your life it goes on, even though it's partly dead.
Eugene Leroy Erickson, or Gene as the family calls him, was born in the small town of Brainerd, Minnesota in 1930. He would join the Army 20 years later. An infantryman in the Korean War, he was captured as a prisoner of war in May of 1951. He died 3 months later from malnutrition.
It's a sad time.
The family learned of the heartbreaking news 2 years after he had died. A sergeant by the name of Herbert Floyd, also from Brainerd, personally told them.
What would you like people to know about Gene? Anything in particular that people should know about Gene?
That is a nice guy.
And now, along with this memorial from more than 60 years ago, he's getting the burial he truly deserves, his older brother, Clayton Erickson.
You always have that hope, but I was surprised.
Gene's body was never found until a breakthrough years in the making.
They spent 15 years carefully going through all these, I think they said 208 boxes that had come from Korea with commingled remains.
The Army, after DNA tests and different studies, was finally able to determine some of those remains belonged to Gene.
It took so long to verify everything.
So I think everybody understands that this is a milestone in the family's history.
Now, that lanky, easygoing guy from small-town America will be laid to rest in Santa Fe at the National Cemetery, a day decades in the making.
I guess that's where the term bittersweet comes from.
If you could say one last thing to Gene, what would you tell Gene?
I miss him.
Now, Clayton Erickson, who you heard from there, is Gene's only remaining immediate family member. He provided the Army with DNA to test against some of those remains in hopes they could make a match, and they did. Alex, back to you.
All right, Cole, thank you very much. Gene Erickson will receive a Patriot Guard escort from Albuquerque to Santa Fe. He'll be laid to rest Wednesday afternoon.